Before we start, we want to take a quick moment to say our hearts are with everyone affected by the horrible accident involving the Humboldt Broncos. The grief is felt across the country, and this terrible event even took someone in our CFL family. Can't begin to imagine the pain that community is in. All of our thoughts here in the Empire are with all of you in this tragic time.
All right, Eskimo fans, are you ready? Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire podcast.
Riley's in the shotgun, looking downfield, and then throws. It is up in the air to the goal line. Bounces. What a catch! What a catch by Duke Williams! Touchdown, Eskimos! Bryant Mitchell. It's going to be intercepted. Arjun Colhoun. 108 yards to the end zone. Vidal Hazelton.
Welcome back to the Turf District for episode 116 of the Eskimo Empire podcast, brought to you by United Construction Company. My name is Andrew, and I want to thank you all for your support and patience until we got to this very exciting point. You can find, of course, all of our information on eskempire.ca, and we are a proud partner in the Canadian Football Podcast Network. I am joined, as always, by the whole gang. First and foremost, of course, Superfan Mike. How are you?
Hey, y'all. I'm good.
Can you hear the jazz hands?
I know, yeah.
You really can.
Fantastic. I hear them every time. And of course, you heard her lovely voice already. It is the one and only web mistress, Kayla.
I just couldn't wait.
That's all right. I don't blame you. I was so excited to get down and back on a mic.
Oh, my.
That sounded really bad as I said,
oh, my.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I am so glad we are back talking football, especially with you guys. It's been a long road. Of course, I'm still working on sitting for any great length of time, but that's okay because this is going to be a good way to sit down and keep me well distracted to talk. The first announcement, as you heard off the top of the show, and if you watch the Periscope, you've already got that already, is we now have a sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So welcome to United Construction Company, or UCC. You know me, as we like to call them. They specialize actually in commercial, light industrial, institutional, and multifamily construction. So, and as it turns out, they happen to be the sponsor of the Spirit of Edmonton. So, welcome to that crew, and make sure that you support them just like they support the Empire.
Absolutely.
Now, it's been a while. So I think we need to talk about the most important thing that has happened in the last couple of months. Oh, no question. Yeah, I mean, hands down, this is the thing that we really need to talk about. And that's Ryan on Big Brother Canada.
That's what we've talked about most, actually.
Insert the theme song. I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay. You know what? It's actually been kind of fun. I've never watched the show. Watching it when you know somebody is actually kind of funny.
Except for the times when I'm watching going, is he still on this show?
Right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's not there as much.
No, he's not drama. He's not making out and drunk with people, so...
Yeah, but he's coming more on the show because now...
They're running out of people.
They're running out of people, but also he's turned his game on a little, where I knew that would happen. The funny thing for me is as I watch it, I'm like, yeah, that's Ryan. Right? It's just knowing him.
There's no editing. Well, that's just the editing. No, that's him.
No, that's completely Ryan. And of course, we want to wish him all the best. If you're listening to this on Wednesday when it comes out, make sure that you go on to the bigbrother.ca site tonight and vote to save Ryan, because we just want Ryan to go all the way through, because it's just awesome to have that. Yeah.
Otherwise, we all stop watching.
That's very true. So, very important. If you're part of the CFL community, if you're part of the CFL podcast network, make sure that you're voting to save Ryan.
I'll use my retweeting magic.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's the Kayla retweeting magic. This will be so much fun. Oh, I can't wait.
Wednesday night is booked.
I wish people could see the fingers that just happened. That was fantastic.
Oh, my.
Not like that. I know. Let's get into some Eskimo talk, shall we?
Oh, Eskimos.
I know. What is that, eh? Yeah.
I forgot.
Football. This whole room I'm in. I don't know what's going on. Man, I tell you, it's been quite a time, especially because in the midst of me being off, we had free agency.
Yes.
We had a lot of roster moves. So the big thing, of course, that happened shortly after we had to take this pause was Odell Willis being traded to Ottawa and then turned around and traded back to BC. And all I can tell you from that is that I can hear Brock Sunderland in his office going, that is not what I wanted to have happen.
Well, yeah, but you have to expect it when you sort of let that thing go. Yeah, I mean, you basically have to say, I just want to get the best player I can get and make that deal.
Right. And Jake Serezna, after looking a little bit more at the deal, pretty good deal.
10th overall pick. I mean, he's basically almost the late first rounder. So,
yeah,
you can't really complain about that.
Yeah, and he had a decent season last year. And now he can come in and play on that in that defensive tackle spot and learn from Armando Sewell.
Wait, where was he before? Sorry?
Ottawa.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then Ottawa turned it around and traded for a draft pick. Was that not correct? That
Canadian
was surprising
content, right?
to me.
Because it's an American, right?
Yeah.
So you're trading an American for a Canadian.
Yes.
Essentially.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I thought it was really funny because that all at the same time, of course, Calgary trades Charleston Hughes across to Hamilton, and within about an hour later, he's traded back to Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So both Alberta teams had defensive ends get traded to the east and then back into the west.
Right.
Which is a little funny. And then, of course, we decided to mimic each other the week after. In the release of Darius Bowman and the release of Marquay McDaniel.
Right.
Two veteran slot backs that had been top receivers for both teams, now finding new homes. And McDaniel hasn't found a home as of yet.
No, not yet. I mean, Darius, you knew was going to be courted by basically all 9 teams.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Including us.
Yes.
After he got released. But
it's very true.
Well, that's just it. We're like, we can't pay that bonus. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Especially not, I mean, I can't imagine paying, even if he had a good season.
Right. The
Locking
bonus
up that kind of money, that's too tough.
And really, when you think about all of the moves that we're going to talk about in a minute of who actually ended up with the team, those 2 moves freed up a lot of money to get some of these other players in.
Right, absolutely. And you have to at that point. The reason that when Hervey made that deal in the first place, he made the bonus available before free agency. So that way, if he gets released, he has a leg up on free agency and can maybe find a spot before other people spend the money.
Right.
So, I mean, it was not like they didn't expect it to happen.
Or to some degree.
Right.
Right?
Expect the possibility could happen.
Exactly. I think it's safe to say right now in the CFL, if you have a bonus in your contract that is coming up prior to free agency in the last year of the deal, it's hit and miss if that's actually going to get paid.
You might want to get some real estate pamphlets.
Yes.
That's all we're saying.
Exactly. It might happen. Now, I know for you, Kayla, because of course both Odell and Darius were big parts of, as you've been a Eskimo fan.
Yeah. The inception of me becoming a football fan.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So I know that was very difficult on you. Now that you've had time, and obviously there's a lot of different things and free agents and all those other things have changed. How are you feeling about it?
At the end of the day, it's a business.
It is.
And I have to remember that, but it doesn't make
nicely
it
here to remind you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Great game, lousy business.
Yes.
Yeah. But it still doesn't make it better. Like, I understand the logic of it. I am half Vulcan, but my other half is Klingon. So it's full of rage a lot.
Well, good.
But the great thing about players like Odell and Darius, but especially Odell, is if you're trying to interact with them on social media, they will respond in some way, despite what team they're on, which makes them so great. Because at the end of the day, it's really about the CFL and not just about the Eskimos.
Right.
Because without the CFL, we wouldn't have our team.
Right.
Right. So you want to keep it as communal as possible.
Yeah.
But all I have to say is, thank God it's not red and black or green and white.
Okay.
I think we all can agree with that.
I think we can all agree on that at any time of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that At the time, I know, especially with Odell, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, whoa,
What?
That's quite a trade. But as soon as then I kind of got some information about what they traded for,
Yep.
I totally got it. Younger guy. Not that Odell had a bad season last year, but it wasn't
He
as
wouldn't have been
dominant
cheap.
as he was before.
He was probably
Exactly.
the highest paid guy on that defensive line.
Yeah.
And with the production, I mean, every year production's going to go down. He's still going to be a solid top defensive end.
Yes.
But you start saying, okay, well, can we justify these kind of dollars on the defensive line? Maybe we want to spend it more on the linebacking core or whatever.
Right. Well, and the other part of it is you have the emergence of Kwaku Boateng.
Yep.
Right. You have they obviously at that point had that in their back pocket that Mackey was already coming back.
Yep.
Right. So they've got some defensive ends, and then they had some guys last year in Allen and in Moore
Right.
that were playing some defensive tackle, but also defensive ends, and showed that they could do it. And
Yeah.
they're younger and cheaper, and that's kind of what the game is about.
You
So-
have to get players that outperform their contract,
Yeah.
and I just don't think Odell was going to do that.
right.
It just sucks too because this is the year that our Grey Cup is here.
Yep.
So
Oh,
you
sure.
wanted that hope of, your veterans to go out with a cup, hopefully
Right.
at home. Like that would have been really, really special.
Yeah.
I understand, but I think the most brutal, I think we can all agree, is the way they handled the Adarius Bowman release.
That I would agree. Yeah, putting it at the
was
bottom of the
disappointing.
signing
with
of
one
Hazelton.
line.
Yeah.
One line. Like, give
And
me
they-
a
By the
break.
way,
They did correct it afterwards, but I think there was a misstep there.
But I don't think it would have been corrected if no one had said anything. That you can't let someone that valuable and that important, especially to Edmonton, not just to the Eskimos,
Right.
to Edmonton,
right.
be released with one line.
It made it a lot harder. Now, granted, I do think that there would have been the press conference with Sunderland afterwards. It
has been a while.
It has been a while. Good Lord. Sorry, Brock. I always call him Brock now. I shouldn't do that. But anyway,
Mr. Brock.
Mr. Sunderland. When they did have the press conference afterwards, and I don't think that his words were, "Oh, I need to make something up after the fan outcry." I think there was actually some real heart in his words of saying that everyone loves Adarius. I'd love to keep him,
sure.
but we just couldn't make.
Well,
the
I think
dollars
it
work,
wasn't
right?
really Brock's fault. It was just who was running the communication. That's how you're going to
The ball
announce
was
it?
dropped.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which, for Darius last year maybe is appropriate.
well played. Well,
He came back with flying colors. How dare
I wish him all the same in Winnipeg. Okay, I love Adarius. I should never
I
say
do.
that. I
No.
love Adarius, and I would love one day he will sit here and tell us his stories.
Yes,
Oh, please.
that would be
And
amazing.
because the guy is an Edmontonian. I don't care where he plays in Winnipeg or not. He's an Edmontonian, and we love Adarius. And one day we will talk to him, and he's the greatest guy to talk to. So I don't want to get too far on that. But all right. So then, shortly after that, actually, I think it was before, but it's hard to get around this. We have the CFL bingo.
We do.
It has finally happened. Kevin Glenn is an Edmonton Eskimo.
Yeah.
I think that news came out when I was still in the hospital, and I almost fell out of the hospital bed. That tells you how shocked I was that actually
You're
happened.
really that shocked?
I was going to say, you knew it was going to happen.
Now, what's funny is, I wrote that thing on Esk Empire
Yeah.
the week before that is now the right time to get Kevin Glenn. And then, ta-da!
Guess so.
I'm just worried about the curse of Kevin Glenn. I don't know.
I am a little worried about that. I must admit, I've heard he's a great guy.
I have, yeah.
But I'm a little,
I have more faith in Riley than I do in a curse, so.
okay,
Well,
that's
it's
good.
just the injuries, right?
Yes.
That's all we're worried about is please don't get injured.
Please don't, yes.
Don't
Yeah.
say those words. Stop it.
Exactly. Mike,
Don't
you
put it out
made
there yet.
So
Last year.
I have more power than the Kevin Glenn curse? I don't think so. I'd
don't
love to
know.
take that kind of credit, but no.
Let's rewind for last season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as long as Sean White doesn't get hurt, whoops.
How
Right?
dare you?
How dare you, sir?
That's right. That wasn't me that said that. I just want to put that on record. So yeah, Kevin Glenn is a Edmonton Eskimo. For all the reasons that I put in the article on the website, I actually think this is a good move. I think we needed some veteran leadership in the quarterback area. I mean, yes, we have Mike Riley, but we're now who is behind Mike Riley?
Yeah.
I think it's even less than that. I think it's more every week we see them play, but it's the 6 other days that we don't see that Kevin Glenn's really going to shine.
Absolutely.
Breaking down film, working with Riley on, looking at the next team and helping break down that other defense. That's where it's
working with Zach Klein and these up-and-coming guys.
Right.
That are now going to be Eli Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
Making his next step into the CFL.
Sure.
How could you not want that kind of a teacher to
Yeah.
help you through getting to that next step in the CFL?
No,
I
absolutely.
think that's brilliant.
Riley's going to be very focused on playing the next game. Glenn will have a little more time to help nurture these people.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, I think we're all very excited to see how Kevin Glenn's dance classes are going and see if he's all prepared for
All
all
those sideline dancing.
All those sideline dances.
Solid green and gold dancers.
He just became one of the solid gold green and dancers. I can't wait. I
Solid
totally
gold,
blow
green
that.
and
Just waiting for something.
You know what? I've had a lot of Robaxa said, and this sucker punch is wonderful. All right.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Anyway, welcome, Kevin Glenn. I think that was a pretty big move. So let's talk about our free agency a bit, because I think one of the things, Marshall Ferguson, I got to give him a lot of credit. He put out our little bobblehead
That's
from our
right.
picture. Needless to say, he puts out every year like a color-coded where did all the free agents go and how are they signing. The thing that really, really jumps out to me as I look at that is the Eskimos were the team that re-signed the most of their own players.
We also had the most.
Yeah.
We did. But,
To be fair.
but we
Not
re-signed
specific.
so many guys.
We did.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly race over this list, and then we can come back and talk about each or a couple of them. But
Sure.
J.C. Sherritt,
Ron.
Grimes, Adam Konar, John White, Trayvon Van, Darrell Walker, Vidal Hazelton, Kenny Stafford, Neil King, Hugh O'Neill, Corey Jones, Pascal Lochar, James Tuck, Doug Parrish, Jamil Smith, Johnny Adams, Forrest Hightower, Alexandre Dupuis, Moore, Bowers, Rotier, and Cozy. That's 22 guys that we were able to re-sign, which gives some consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
And that, to me,
Means
that's
a lot.
what, if you want to look at the teams that have had regular season success, that's what they do.
Not mentioning any names.
But that's what they do.
No, you have to have that sort of continuity. And
Yes.
people tend to focus on the 2 or 3 big names that got away.
Yes.
Whether it's Bowman, whether it's Willis, or whether it's, say, Figueroa. But you have to look at all these people that he re-signed. And again, as I said on the Periscope, re-signing Adam Konar, I think, was something that nobody expected. Everyone thought,
Especially
for sure.
it was a 2-year deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was blown away.
Gable, another guy, a 2-year deal.
Yeah. Aaron
Having-
Grimes, too.
Yeah,
It was a 2-year deal.
Having the fact we have Gable and still got White back, I think that's just going to be a fantastic combination for training camp at very
Okay,
least.
now I knew you were going to be super excited about that.
Yes.
How do you think that we got White? I was shocked. I thought for
I
sure
think
that White was going to
his
Toronto.
injury
Yeah.
history scared people away. And I think that they were still gung-ho on getting Wilder, and until he had definitively said no, they weren't
Yeah.
going to be going after anybody else.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so impressed with being able to retain some of these guys.
Yeah.
It's been some big names on there that I didn't think we would
And
be
we
seeing
are
coming
so
back.
deep at international running back right now.
Well, what do we have? We have Gable,
Yep.
White,
Yep.
Van.
Yep. That's it, I think, for the big names,
But those
for sure.
those are huge as it is.
Yeah. I mean, Trayvon Van did very well in Ottawa in his last year there. So
Yeah.
if he's your third guy.
I wonder if Trayvon is going to be more of a return guy.
That's what I was thinking.
And I wonder if they actually might even take the flyer at having John White return if he can get used to catching the ball.
Fielding the ball. It's hard to say. I mean, we still have Jamil Smith.
Yep.
We signed Speedy Noyle.
Yes.
Another guy that's a good return and great in space from the videos I've seen. So I don't know. I think that at this point, you got to try a lot of stuff. I mean, they were trying, when we first saw them in training camp, we saw Zylstra fielding when he was, before he even made the practice roster. So I think they're just going to try a bunch of different things. I'm not sure what Moss's philosophy is. Before, it's always been just catch the ball, secure it, and if you happen to get a couple yards, that's great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'd like to see a lot
Which
better.
Which fits McDermott's system perfectly.
Well, that's just it. At this point, that's if that's what your boss is telling you, you're just like, well, then why bother even trying to get downfield blocking? Let's just make sure we secure the ball and get a couple of yards.
True. Very true. I don't like that, but
and that's the only really the only way we could get White on the roster at the same time as Gable, which would be a hellacious double-headed monster. But
if they put those two in the backfield at the same time, Mike might have a stroke.
Wishbone!
I'd be so excited. Which of those returning players kind of meant the most to you, Kayla?
Sherritt.
Yeah, I think that was a huge fan. I think they had to do that, especially after the two others leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I just missed him on the field. That little beast that just doesn't stop.
Yes.
Seeing him on the sidelines, you're just like, you can see the ache. He just wanted to play so bad. So to see him come back and hopefully play at home. No, well, play at home for the Grey Cup.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I was very happy with the re-signing of Hugh O'Neill, actually, because I really liked that combination that they did last year of Sean White and Hugh O'Neill. Hugh can just take care of the punting. Sean White takes care of the place kicking.
Actually, you know what,
I think that'd be great.
Lashard, just because he has groovy hair.
He does have
He does.
He does have groovy hair.
And with Tiguan gone,
My nephew has that box cut now, too.
Oh, really?
So,
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
All right. Well, we'll give it for that. All right. Let's talk about who came in free agency. So the big first day signing was defensive end Alex Bazzi.
Yeah, that's huge.
Thought that was pretty big. Again, probably a cheaper version of an Odell.
And younger.
And able to drop back into coverage, right? Because he did that before. So that's a big thing. We've already talked about Serezna. On the offensive line, we did bring in a couple of international guys in Briggs and Palmer to try and take that position of Figueroa left.
Sure.
Torrance Gibson comes in. Now, this is a guy that played quarterback before and now is coming in as a wide receiver. So that'll be very interesting. Buddy Jackson comes here as a defensive back. Christophe Nomrand, Rory Colert, Jerron Kreiner, and Shaq Hill as a wide receiver. So that was 11 guys that we kind of brought in that was fairly new.
Lots of receivers, for sure.
And there was a couple others prior to when we recorded. That was where Eli Jenkins came in and that type of thing. So we've got a few new faces, which, I mean, they need to do. But I think the Esks right now are at a roster size where they're actually going to have to make a few cuts before they even get to training camp. They've got a lot of guys.
Sure.
Yeah. So in the wake of that, here we've got John Chick retiring, and I think we do need to give a shout out to John Chick because he had a great career.
Good old Johnny. And
he was great on social media. He was great as a person. He didn't have as much success here in Edmonton.
He started to come on in the later parts of the season, the last couple of games, I thought.
Yeah.
Nice thing now he can retire. He can spend more time having more kids. So that'll be good.
We want 10. We want 10. Is that what we're supposed to be saying? Oh, sorry, John.
I don't know if his wife will.
I was actually John's wife. That's what I should be saying at that point. Yeah, 10. Oh, my goodness.
Did they have 7?
8.
7 or 8, yeah.
Oh,
I think it's 8. Yeah, there's a lot of little chicks.
What a...
Nothing? That was a little bit. Come on.
I was laughing.
All right, good. All right.
Oh, I have a question.
Absolutely.
So, what happened to Zylstra's brother? Wasn't he in the combine?
No, he wasn't in the combine because he's an American. So he is on our negotiation list.
Oh.
So if
he was on some combine, wasn't he? Was he in the NFL?
It might have been the NFL combine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he is on the negotiation list and could be coming up here at some point.
That'd be interesting.
If he does decide to come to the CFL, we have the exclusive rights to him. So
actually, that's pretty fly.
Yeah,
that is kind of neat. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's as cute as Brandon.
That's okay.
It's okay.
As long as he doesn't take Mitchell's place, I don't care.
Nice. Oh no, we're gonna see a lot of Batman this year.
Yeah,
I'm
a loyalist.
He made the intro for the show, so
we're loyal here
Lots of Batman.
in the Empire,
Absolutely.
and thus he will be loyal to us.
That's right. Go Batman. All right. Let's talk about our coaches, because we did have a couple of switches in there. Now, Moss did take over as OC, and because, of course, Carson Walsh, easy for me to say,
C-Dub.
yep, went to the Eagles.
Yes.
That's an opportunity you can't say no to.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You know, if you're only Super Bowl champions, why not?
Yeah, I loved when they talked to Moss afterwards, and he's like, "Oh, he got interviewed by the Eagles. I was pretty sure if they talked to him, he was going to go, and I'm not going to say no." No kidding. Yeah. So that was pretty good. Maximic is now taking on the passing coordination,
Right.
and they brought in DJ McCarthy as a wide receiver coach. Maxey now moves from linebackers to defensive line, which, I mean, that was the position he played. I think that'll be a good move for him there too.
Yeah, so linebacker coach now is going to be going to our defensive coordinator, so that's going
Right.
to be part of it. So we have a linebacker assistant.
Right,
At
which
that
is
point.
now Travis Brown.
Right.
And for the first time, they're putting in an offensive and a defensive quality control coach. So
Yeah, we've
Kelly-
had offensive quality control, but this is the first time we've had both.
Yeah, so Kelly Bates is coming in, who played on our O-line before, has played with Moss. So
Yeah, very briefly, yeah, he was
Yeah.
there for 1 year. He was probably most known as a BC Lion.
absolutely. And then Rob Payne coming in on the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
So that's, I think it's the best part of that for me is that really we lost 2 coaches and the rest are basically the same. We've added in a couple others, but the core of the coaching is still the same. And I think that's so important every year.
I think the other thing, too, is people made a big deal out of Jason Moss taking on the OC role, but they forget that he had that role in 2016.
Yes.
He was our head coach and OC. So, I don't think that's a big of a deal, him having to take on the dual role again. He's also a third-year head coach now, so I think he's got a better grip on it.
Well, and I think he's kind of grooming other guys too, right? Like I think he's grooming Maximic, and
Yeah, Maximic, again, a local boy. He was a quarterback in high school, and I don't think he really went beyond that. Might have gone to university. Or
I think he went to university side, but yeah.
As a quarterback, I'm not sure. But I do know he's apparently an absolutely brilliant football mind and young. So, they can basically groom him to go move from quarterback coach to OC, opening the door for Ricky Ray to come in as quarterback coach.
I was waiting for that to
Absolutely.
come in.
Absolutely. Next year, he's only playing one more year. So guess where he's coming after that?
You know what's great too? Mikey has a few more years, and then that opens the door for Franklin to come back and take over as.
I've said that many times. We've already said he looks better in green and gold.
Oh yes,
Brings up the color of his eyes.
Absolutely.
we just need to get Kaylee on board. Be like, honey, you look so good in those colors.
We've got a great mall.
We do. We have an amazing mall. We're very family oriented.
That's better.
That's what we need. It's like I know these things. Okay, so now we talked a bit about who is out. We talked about some of the main guys, but I think it's funny. We said it on the Periscope, the BC Eska Lions, as it's becoming. Euclid Cummings went there. Oh, right, he's not playing anymore. Kauchi Mwamba, Joey Figueroa, and Gary Peters have all gone over there, as well as
Was Abdel, yeah.
Watson.
Yeah, Corey
Oh
Watson,
right,
for sure.
yeah.
Watson. So-
that one kind of sucked.
So that's a lot of guys heading out over that way.
Well, it's not shocking.
Not surprising. Again, when a GM changes teams, he tends to bring the people he knows.
Yeah.
Demi Lovato.
There's one guy that's still available. I'm surprised has not been brought over to BC.
BC. Me too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is a guy that Hervey, the new BC GM, thought worthy of a 3-year contract. So
Yeah.
why not sign Marcel Young?
I mean, really. It was a sad day for me.
Yeah, actually, of all the people we've released, the one that surprised me the most is Danny Grew hasn't been picked up.
That's totally shocks me.
I thought
Totally
Ottawa
shocks
would
me.
sign him or Montreal.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to be. So
Yeah, I thought for sure he would end up in one of those two spots.
you never know. I mean, we might see him back in green and gold. So I know Jedi will be happy.
Yeah. But we did re-sign Beard, so that should be exciting. So you can get a jersey that actually
I
says
know.
Beard on it.
Exactly.
That's really all that she needs. That's perfect. A couple other little points I want to get to before we take a quick break. So Andrew Jones did signed a 1-day contract to retire as an Eskimo. Batiste, who he had re-signed, then actually retired and ended up going to the NFL as a conditioning coach.
Yeah, going to the Raiders. So
Yeah, awesome
I mean,
for him.
that's hard to say no to that. It's probably going to pay a lot better than being maybe a 6th offensive lineman.
Well, and the guy we know he's an amazing trainer.
Sure.
Because he's trained people that we know, Susan and all these other people.
Yep.
So he's a motivating guy. So that's perfect for him to go down to that. And we wish him all the best there. Now, our Las Vegas mini camp is coming up. April 21st through 24th.
Yeah, a week and a half.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
Means they're getting out on the field. Now, what's interesting to me is that Jason did say when he was talking about the coaches that they are basically doing a full mini camp with veterans as well, because when they get back, training camp starts, they basically have 6 days in their first game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then they have 6 days and they have another game.
Yeah.
And then they don't have anything until
because the first game's on Sunday, right? On a Sunday?
Yeah, it is. On the
at
27th,
two,
May
yeah.
27th. Yeah.
Just absolutely crazy. I mean, the Las Vegas thing's great. That's where we found Zach Klein.
Yep.
So you can just find some people. And how can you not cheer for Zach Klein coming into this year?
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
he's still got ways to go. I don't think he might be on the practice roster again for another year. We will see.
Yeah.
But because I don't think he's quite the Ricky Ray mold where he's going to come in and start for you. But
Not quite yet, no.
But I mean, they
Not
can
that
just
I'd be upset with that.
no. But
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they can just show that one touchdown pass he had over and over and over, and I'd be thrilled.
I would just be happy if they only showed the celebration
Yeah.
over and over again. I'd be perfectly fine
The
with that.
celebration started before the pass landed, so
Oh,
it's
it was-
kind of all part of parcel.
Fantastic. It was fantastic. Last thing that I want to mention, the Esks with the 50-50s this year, we're donating $840,000 to
Yes.
amateur football and the Alumni Association.
Absolutely outstanding.
Man, I tell you, I love how Eskimo fans get behind the 50-50 and how that supports these teams, especially as a dad who has a kid that's in junior football, not
Sure.
playing at the level that they're getting these dollars yet, but is working his way through and enjoying that.
Yep.
Just awesome that they're supporting that amateur football.
Absolutely, and they're also supporting the Eskimo Alumni Association with those dollars as well.
Yeah,
So I mean, if you're looking at $840,000 going to amateur football, there's still money left over to be going to the higher levels and the alumni.
Yeah, that's that is absolutely fantastic. All right, well let's take a really quick break, and then we will come back for our Esks history moment, and we will talk about CFL week and what is to come.
This is Andrew Jones, and you're listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
You can join the Empire online. Find us at eskempire.ca. All of our social channels are there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, plus our blogs, extra pics, and the link to our Patreon page. You can also get more history at Esks History on Twitter and This Day in Esks History on Facebook. From the Empire team, thanks again for listening. Let's get back to the show. We are back, and it is time for our favorite new segment, new, old, kind of both segment. It is time for the Esks History Moment.
Let's hear you cheer and holler for a mighty famous team. Let's hear you roar, you know what, for a team that's on the beat. Our voices rise up to the skies, the fans are glad to scream. We love those Eskimos.
Welcome back to the Esks History Moment. Today we're going to be looking at the bio of a former Eskimo, and I thought I'd start off with, who do you think has the record for the most Grey Cup wins?
Most Grey Cup wins?
Yeah.
I'd go with Kepley. No, wait, I'm sorry. I would go with Cutler.
Cutler would be a good choice.
Yeah.
He does have 6.
Yes.
Another person that would have been a good choice, probably not thought of, is Dwayne Mandrusiak, who's got
of
11.
yeah.
Of course, yes.
However, not even he.
Oh.
So, again, a great guess, but this person goes back further, winning his first Grey Cup in 1945. and is the only person to have won 3 Grey Cups in a row twice.
Wow.
Twice.
Yes.
Okay.
We're talking about a guy named Frank Morris.
All right.
Who was a two-way lineman playing at offensive guard and defensive tackle, who debuted with the 1945 Toronto Argonauts after his time with the HMCS Navy during World War II. Morris won the Cup in his first 3 years, the third time a team had ever won 3 consecutive Grey Cups. But after 2 more years with the Argos, Morris was coaxed away to come west and join head coach Annis Dukas, who had played with Morris on the HMCS York Navy team during the war. So debuting with the second-year Eskimos in 1950, Morris was a hit on the field and off as he anchored both lines for the green and gold. He helped take the team to the 1952 Grey Cup to face off against who else? His former Argonaut teammates, but unfortunately came up just short. The next year, he was made co-captain of the team, and the following year was part of the first Grey Cup winning team in Edmonton history, a feat he followed up on the next 2 years, winning the triple for the second time. Wow. Morris played until the 1958 season, after which he retired from playing. For many of us, unless you're of a certain age, Morris was probably more famous to us for returning the Eskimos in October 1970 as the team's Canadian scout, and then was later named Director of Player Development. So he helped find and developed some lesser-known people like Dave Fennell, Bill Stevenson, Eric Upton,
who?
Marco Sincar.
I never heard of him.
Rod Connup, Blake Dermott, Tom Richards, Blake Marshall, and many, many more.
Wow. That's an all-star list of Canadians right there.
That's not so bad. Yeah. And they always say the Grey Cup's usually won by the people with the best Canadians, so is it any wonder we were winning so many cups back then?
Absolutely.
Frankie did retire after the 1988 season, his 19th with the club as an executive and 28th with the club as a whole, and added 7 more Grey Cup rings to his 6 as a player for a whopping 13 Grey Cup rings.
Wow.
The most in Canadian football history. Frank did pass away 9 years ago this week on April 9th, 2009 at the age of 85. Frank Morris was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1983 and was in the 3rd group of players added to the Eskimos' Wall of Honor in 1984. Morris was a legend on the field and behind the scenes for the green and gold. He embodied the phrase, once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo, like no other.
Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. We love those Eskimos.
Wow. That is fantastic.
I'm ready for the test.
Excellent. What was the name of the Navy team he played for?
Dang it.
There we go. That's correct. The HMCS Dang It is the correct answer.
Wait a minute. I feel like I'm not having a chance in this.
I was studying numbers. Dang it.
No one cares about numbers.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, especially not you.
No.
Yeah, no. It's one of the things that...
Mike appears to be a CFL encyclopedia.
Be in
It's
the intro,
true.
actually.
Where do you store that?
So funny. It's awesome.
On a computer.
No.
That's good.
And then I print it off here, and then I just read it.
Is that it? Yeah, the computer in your head?
I like that. Where do
A
you
lot of
store that?
storage.
On my computer.
On my NAS.
Ooh, so exciting. All right. Well, one other thing actually happened while we were talking about old Eskimo players.
Ooh.
I know. We had a CFL commissioner visit our city.
Booty.
Huh?
Randy Ambrosi was here for the town hall. Now, if somebody's listening to this and hasn't heard, I thought that was pretty amazing. As a joke on the Sunday, I put out a tweet saying, hey, I won't be able to make it because I broke my back, but hey, I don't live far if you want to just come and sit down. And lo and behold, set up between Superfan Mike and my beautiful wife, they set up a surprise for me. And on the Tuesday afternoon, as I'm sitting in the living room,
I just happened to show up.
Just happened to be there, and I look out the window and say, "Who the hell is parked backwards in front of our house?" And then realize who it was, and that
you can park there.
Oh God, that I was so floored and honored, and
you were flummoxed.
Oh, that's another word. It was amazing that he stopped in, and we just had that great kind of our mini town hall here. But now both of you were actually at the town hall.
Yes.
And what kind of stood out for you as you were there chatting with Randy or listening to Randy and Mike and all those things?
That he actually did it. Like he actually had a town hall for fans.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's
That's
huge.
what stood out the most. Like, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like,
did you get a chance to actually meet him after?
no.
No? Okay.
No.
'Cause some people did, so I was just curious.
There was a lot of people over there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's so easy to talk to.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that impressed me the most was his ease in front of that microphone. He was born to be in that position, felt like.
Yeah.
Especially after Jeffrey Orridge, who was, no matter what he could do, he wasn't really that well versed with the Canadian Football League as much as someone who played the game, has been on both sides because he's actually been with the Players Association and now with the league. And he didn't seem to be afraid to say, I don't know, when someone gave him a question that maybe, instead of just trying to talk his way through it.
Yeah.
It made people feel that, you know what, I don't know, but I will find out for you. And it just seemed genuine that he would.
I was just going to say, I think that's the biggest thing for me is that people feel that he says, well, I'll find out. And you think, you know what, he will.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel the league is in very good hands with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that he seems to understand that, the fan base is where it's at. That's where you grow this league. And so he wants to listen. And for me, to even have him be, like you said, at the town hall with all of, the 500 Eskimo fans or whatever it was.
Most in the league, by the way.
Absolutely. As it should be. Mm-hmm. And they just, for him to have those conversations and take the time to be there and to listen, I think that's a huge step. Yeah.
And he actually wants to bridge the gap between the generations too.
Yes.
Like not just focus on one and not keep things the same, but kind of appease both.
Yes.
And wanting to bring in fresh blood without doing it in a way that's kind of gimmicks. Of course. Very gimmicky, without being gimmicky.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And he's just willing to try all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people might be like, well, what we'll do is we'll bring that before a committee, and then we'll try it at the junior levels, and then we'll talk again with the new committee, and then we will put it, It's just, you know what? It sounds like a good idea to me. Let's just try it out and see what happens.
Yeah.
He had some suggestions for great ways to speed up the game without taking away from anything, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
He had talked about, for those that weren't there or haven't heard the podcast, and maybe you should.
Yes, please do.
We put out there. He talked with the new head of officiating, and they said, listen, it's officiating now when there's a penalty called is almost a ritual. They march the ball down, they set the ball, then the referee says what the penalty was, then they blow the play in, and he says, why don't we start talking about what the play is while we're setting the ball and while we're getting everything in position?
Right.
It may only shave a minute and a half off, but if you do that enough times, and we've seen some games where there's been enough penalties where that could speed things up a bit. So if we can shave 15, 20, 30 minutes off just from that, let alone all the other little things where we can incrementally speed up the game a bit, I think it's a great idea to try it out.
He doesn't choose sides either.
Mm-hmm. No.
He makes everyone
Unless he's
feel
very
important.
passionate about it and he can make a good point to argue it.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, like, he's there for the fans, he's there for the officials, he's there for the players. Like, it's all one group, and it's not just trying to win over like a certain area. Like, he actually wants the CFL to grow organically and not become something it's not.
Mm-hmm.
AKA the NFL.
That's a great way to put that.
Yeah.
Excellent way to put that. I love it. I was just thinking about it. I didn't actually have it in the notes, but right shortly after that, we got the news that Max was leaving the CFL. I don't know if Max listens to the podcast. I highly doubt it.
I figure he does.
But if he does, Max, thank you for everything, man.
Yeah.
And he will be sorely missed in that CFL office. Not that they won't find, somebody who can do the job. I just don't think they'll do it like Max. And he was a personality as much as he was the Twitter guy.
I'm going to miss the ties.
Absolutely.
Bow ties.
Absolutely.
And I think it's almost seemed like genuine enthusiasm was very infectious.
Absolutely.
When he would be doing anything, whether it was busting a box of old cards from 2003, or whether it's talking about loose signings or whatever it was, anything, it just seemed to be, he was just so on and up. And plus he brought a lot of stuff in with the Instagram accounts and everything else. Like, he really helped move it from his predecessors into where it is now, and I think he's done a great job. And it's just not the same without Brody. I mean, it was always just Max and Brody.
Yeah,
Brody and
exactly.
Max.
Yeah, exactly. But that sounds like a really bad other show that we won't mention on here.
No, that sounds like parents. A YTV show.
That's what
it's Treehouse, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Ruby and Max and Ruby.
I don't have children. I don't
See,
know.
that's why we were both going, I'm not sure if we should continue to talk that way. But yeah,
it's
I agree.
just for the best.
Yeah. But Max, you will be very much missed, and I hope that we do get to run into each other as fans.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
that,
I'm hoping he comes to Grey Cup
different.
because it'd be great to just...
That'd be
Should.
fun.
I'm really putting the pressure on. You got to come
That's
to
right.
Edmonton, buddy. You never got here.
Yeah.
I'll show you a good time. Yeah, he's got to get here. Now, then right after that was CFL week. Another roaring success in Winnipeg with CFL week. The announcement came out that there will be a new football for the season this year.
Yeah, easier to grip.
Yeah, which will be great. Darius is very excited about that. That's the last time I think I'll do that. But
I think
just
Mike
couldn't-
Riley's really excited they'll be
he
catching
really-
those balls.
I think he really is. Yeah, exactly.
Are they the same size?
Yes.
Basically, they're a touch bigger, not much, but that's
It's
what
just
they said.
you can be the same size or you can be bigger. That's the thing.
okay.
It depends. Like the dimensions when they inflate it can be
Oh, okay.
in a certain range.
So you mean we're not bringing out the Our Balls Are Bigger shirts again?
Well, maybe you're not.
I really wish they would. I would buy it. I'm telling you.
Our
CFL.
balls are slightly larger. That's very Canadian.
That's something.
Actually, if it just said sorry, our balls are slightly larger, that would be perfect.
Our balls have the potential to be larger.
Oh, they need to bring that out. That's fantastic.
And then, on the back. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, eh?
Sorry, eh? There should be... outside of that, with CFL Week, the tweet up looked like it was a blast.
Oh, they always are.
The CFL parties that were there, I'm seeing a whole bunch of our CFL family there, which was fantastic, which was when I kind of then had that urge to write that thank you note to the CFL family, because you see everybody together and you're like, wow, all these people are behind you, right?
Yeah.
But then I did get to watch the live one-on-ones as well on the Sunday, and I gotta tell you, that production has just gotten better. Like Marshall Ferguson, Jaden Sabalski, David Sanchez, I thought they did a great job going through all the different guys and watching some of these young guys perform, and it was great. It was really, really, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that, the first one last year was the very first one, and they at least got some feedback and they paid attention and thought, here's how we can improve it, and they did a great job. Yeah,
absolutely. I can't wait to see where CFL Week is going and when it'll be. There's rumors it'll come here. I do think, this is my personal opinion, I do want it to come here. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think that next year is too soon. I think it needs to be, because we can't host the Grey Cup in November and then have everyone come back for CFL Week.
Says you.
I mean,
and then the Grey Cup in Calgary.
You could, but I just think they need to balance that a bit. But I could totally see us having it in 2020. And I think we should. I think because we have the facility to do it.
Well, we know it's not going to be in Hamilton next year because they're not bidding on anything right now, neither the Grey Cup nor CFL Week.
Isn't the Grey Cup in Calgary?
Well, it's not official.
Oh.
Not official, but that's the going rumor, yes.
Right, that is the rumor that's been leaked out there.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, I could see it being in Ottawa. I think Ottawa would have a great time with CFL Week.
Yes, agree.
I could see it, Montreal maybe. I mean, who doesn't want it? It's like, hey, let's take a trip to Montreal. It's pretty easy to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Schwartz's.
But even Toronto could use the exposure of CFL Week.
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I just would hate to see it get lost because it'll get kind of swallowed up there a little more.
Yeah.
I think Ottawa is a town that would go rabid.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Very true.
I mean, at least right now, when it was in Saskatchewan, you didn't have anything else to compete with it, really.
Right. Yeah.
Winnipeg, I mean, the Jets have been doing fairly well this year, and it
was
still did well.
Yeah, still did
so
well.
I think that's a great sign. The Prairies are always pretty football mad.
Yeah.
Speaking as someone who collects CFL memorabilia,
What?
I know, it's new.
Yeah.
I just started. But I can find collectors of Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and Edmonton, no problem. But finding someone who collects the Montreal Alouettes, that's a little tougher. Even Toronto Argonauts, not so easy.
Not as much.
So
okay, that's fair. Absolutely. But overall, I think another great success, and I'm excited for it to be around next week. We got to get to one of those. We got to get to
if it's
one.
here, it's a lot easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. We got to get to one anyway. Now, a couple of little things that we need to talk about on our side of things. The Westivus party, of course, we did have to reschedule it. We haven't got a date quite yet because we're not too sure how I'm going to be doing for getting
We're just going to
out.
lay a cot down there.
That'd be but if it's on the floor, that might be a problem.
Well, no, it'll be like a
On the
rollout
table?
cots.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's
Scooter man.
Hammock.
Scooter.
But we still nice. But we do still need to get our prizes out to everybody from Empire Points and from all of our
the fantasy
stuff from last year. So we will get those out, and we will plan the Westivus party. I just hope it will be before the season. That's the plan.
Yes.
That we're trying to go with at this point.
There'll be wings.
There will be lots of them.
Yes.
Yummy.
Saturday before the game, that'd be kind of fun.
But possibly.
If you feel better.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's a possibility.
Just have them here.
Have them. Yeah, sure.
Shove everyone in the...
Like my wife hasn't done enough for me as it is. I don't think that'll go over so well. All right, and the other thing that we need to announce is we are actually going to be phasing out our Patreon page.
I'm saddest for missing the jingle.
Yeah, I know.
We almost need one more just before we go out.
One more before we go. Patreon, patreon.com/EskEmpirePod. I'm very upset that neither of you joined in.
In spirit.
You know what?
Can you feel it?
I didn't want to mess that up.
Okay. Anyway, thank you to Patreon, and it has worked out really great. And all of you that have been part of Patreon, I mean,
thank you so much.
We can't thank you enough. We did just try to make it easier by going. There is like a donate button now on the website. You can go through that way if you want to help to support the show. We definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
And we're just trying to make it a bit easier for people and not doing the US dollar exchange and all those other fun kind of things. And we're just trying to find a way that we can make it easy, and then we're not worrying about having the extra stuff up on the Patreon page, which we were having a harder time getting stuff up on there. So this way, we are still going to honor everyone's Patreon. You'll get all of your rewards.
Absolutely.
Because we definitely appreciate it. But we'll find different and new ways to do this just to make it a bit easier.
That sounds great. The easier button.
The easier button, yeah.
Staples.
Where is it? Yeah.
That was easy.
Let's. I think we've come to the end. I mean, that hour just flew by, but it's awesome to be back here talking with you guys, and we got some great guests coming. Before we get to that, let's say where everybody can find everyone. Here we go. I know it's been a while, Kayla. This should be fun. There'll be no editing on this one. All right, Kayla, where does everybody find you?
On Twitter, my handle is @DuchessLombardi, and you can find us on Instagram at Eskimo Empire Podcast.
Wow.
Cue cards and everything.
First try. That was fantastic. Super fan.
You can find me at my home.
That's true. Yes.
But on Twitter, you can find me at 56Parkies, and then the new Esk's History Moment at Esk's History.
Wonderful. And you can find me at Freepalicious. And once again, thank you to all of the CFL family and for helping and doing all the support through all of the social channels. I got a lot on my at Freepalicious account, so I do appreciate that. You can follow the show at Esk Empire Pod, and of course you can find all of our other social channels on the links on eskempire.ca. So thank you again to our sponsor, United Construction Company. Check out their website at unitedconstruction.ca. We've got some new upgrades that are slowly going to come into the Turf District here in the next little while. We will be back in 2 weeks, and we are going to be joined by Dwayne Vinot from the Grey Cup Committee to tell us about all of the exciting things that are coming up in Grey Cup.
Grey Cup's always exciting.
Oh, yes. And all of the, the season ticket holders for other teams, you should be getting your emails, I believe it's next week, to get your pre-orders in for your Grey Cup tickets.
Yeah, they're going to sell out.
Get them because they are going to sell out. Absolutely. And then it'll be going on to the public on June 1st, and we'll talk all about that in 2 weeks with Dwayne. And then shortly shortly after that, 2 weeks after that, we will finally get back to our Dave and Morley show. So we've got lots coming, and it's going to be so much fun. And we have shows straight through to training camp. Lots of other great guests that we're trying to line up as well. So our Empire question for this week, isn't it awesome to be back?
Absolutely.
And are we ready for training camp to open?
Absolutely.
So for web mistress Kayla, superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.